You are now tuned into the Six-Man Podcast brought to you by OXP MEDIA. I am one of your hosts, Brandon Graham, alongside the legendary Mike Roach. You can find him on Twitter at Mike_Roach_ on Instagram at MikeRoach7. You can find me on Instagram at G_JB and on Twitter at Graham_JB. This is the Six-Man Podcast. Really glad that you're all here to listen into this great podcast production. Of course, we've been doing this for years, but it just gets better and better, Mike. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. What's going on?
Hey, we're in February, kind of getting to the point now where everything in the NBA is becoming very, very serious. And this is crunch time. This is where you see where good teams are going to separate.
It really is.
The great teams separate.
And why do we always say, like, I hear so many shows when it comes to post All-Star break, we always say we're entering the second half of the season. Dude, like we're past the second half.
We've been much past. There's only 23 games left. That's
what I mean.
Half.
It's like that's less than a third, isn't it?
I hate when they say that because they say it's like a refresh, altogether. And I don't know why. February is a great time to do it, but you can sense that some teams are getting pretty tired and kind of like drained out by the January start of February kind of stream. But
it's more like crunch time at this point.
Yeah,
because the races are so close that everybody's just kind of battling for position, right?
100%, especially in the East, and we'll get into that at some point. But I want to start in this All-Star weekend. It was held in Ohio, in Cleveland. All right, obviously we're going to start with the Rising Stars Challenge, but it was a great overall All-Star weekend. I really thought it was. Saturday night, we'll get into that very soon. But I want to start in the Rising Stars Challenge. Okay, we had Scotty Barnes, rookie, sophomore, Precious Achiuwa in the Rising Stars Challenge, and you saw Precious Achiuwa actually getting buckets, being aggressive. And some people were like, yo, is this guy really, like, he's a sophomore, so on and so forth. But once again, Scotty Barnes leads all rookies with a team-high 119 offensive second chance points this season. He's been great on the boards this season as well, too. But in this weekend, you think he had a regretful weekend, a regretful showing so far?
You talking about Scotty Barnes?
Scotty Barnes.
No, I mean, I thought he looked all right, aside from the fiasco with Garland. It was pretty funny. I mean,
Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, sorry, Tyrese Maxey. Apologies, yeah. Tyrese Maxey. That was pretty hilarious, by the way. Right. I got a laugh out of it, and I mean, it's pretty rare that would happen that many times, but it did. So, I mean, what else can he do at that point but just laugh? I thought he was okay in the Rising Stars Challenge overall. I really liked the format. First of all, like, I thought it was fantastic. I think it's one of the best that we've seen in years. Tournament style, winner of both games face off in the finals, and it's Elam ending. So you win on a bucket, right? There's no time to bail you out doing different things. So I thought that was great. I hope they continue to do that at least for the next couple years, because I find when they did that, it was competitive, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have time. You're not looking at clocks and wasting time dribbling. None of that matters. All that matters at this point is playing defense and making sure you score 50 before they do. So,
facts.
Ultimately at the end of the day, I thought that was good. And I hope they keep this format because it worked.
I just like, there's something about the old format the Rising Stars Challenge where you get to see the rising stars and more. Like, we saw LaMelo Ball for only a certain period of time. We saw certain guys only a certain period of time. If your squad of one, depending on who's constructing it, you're playing on. So I thought I could have got more Scotty Barnes. I thought I could have got more LaMelo. We got a lot of course, Cade Cunningham, because his team actually ultimately ended up winning. I'm going to say for this Rising Stars Challenge, I want to see more of those guys exposed. And I like the old format. I like when there was showtime.
If they want to be exposed more, then they have to win.
To the point where they're literally injuring themselves? Giddy?
I mean, injuring yourself. You have a better chance of injuring yourself not playing at 100%. So if you're going 100% speed, you're at a better chance injuring yourself just going 50%.
I agree. I'm saying with the Rising Stars Challenge, like, I look forward to the Luka versus Trey. When they used to go against each other. I remember that. I love that. You've seen these young guys go up against each other, weighing themselves up, seeing who's going to be the next All-Stars, who's going to take this league by storm, or who's going to be the ambassadors for the league. I like that. But I don't mind.
But the problem is that there's so many young guys in the league.
That is true.
Who are talented and upcoming. We can't just cap it with one squad versus the other.
Right.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because there's so many of these guys. You have guys who are rookies. You have guys who are sophomores. We have a bunch of guys who are in the G League trying to be shown. There's so many of them. How do you just cap it at, this 12 against this 12 when there's more?
I agree with that. I like that. There's a lot of guys, young guys that are coming up, but I don't know. I like the format, but I thought I can get a little bit more of the stars if I really want to. But it's neither here nor there. But I do like the format of getting the bucket and the guys have to battle each other. Anyway, so you have that Friday night.
I'm sure they'll probably. I mean, I understand what you're saying. There's probably a way that they will alter it. I would say that there will be a way that we can get the best of both worlds somehow, some way.
We hope, we hope we got it at some point. But once again, let me just break this down and just say nothing was as immaculate as the 2016 All-Star Weekend in Toronto, Ontario, where Mike Roach was present for the slam dunk competition, the greatest slam dunk competition of my lifetime. Well, actually, I like the one with Vince Carter was in and Jason Richardson. But in recent time, that was the best slam dunk competition ever. And the best weekend, I believe, ever, with Kobe being honored, everything happening in Toronto. Just the weather was the one thing. It was just the greatest All-Star Weekend for a long time. But I wanted to start with the skills competition. I want you to take on everything, right? Because it was a great All-Star Weekend. It was the stars were out. I thought it was great. Starting with the skills competition. Did you not like the format there, where the guys have to go to different points and get a bucket here, there, there?
I love the skills competition.
Oh, really?
I loved it. I loved all of it. I liked the way that the teams were made up with the rookies. Then I liked it with the Cleveland guys, and I liked it with the Antetokounmpo brothers. That was new, right? So that was pretty interesting, and I kind of liked the way that, I don't know how they came up with that, but it was a great idea to me. And I just liked all the different things they were doing in terms of the shooting, in terms of the passing, getting up and down the court, like the half court shots. I thought it was great.
Listen,
I really had no issue with it. It was entertaining. It was cool to see. I like that there was a mix and like not all guards. So we had a mix of like Jared Allen, like you had a big in there, small guys, forwards, instead of just watching all guards or, you know what I mean? So it was mixed up and I enjoyed.
Listen, I'm good with the Cleveland squad. I'm good with the rookie squad. Some rookies might say, oh, Jalen Suggs should be in there. Oh, Jalen Green should have probably been there, but Jalen Green was somewhere else. So some people were complaining about that. Just don't give me Thanasis. Thanasis cannot shoot. Thanasis probably can't make a right-hand layup. Thanasis cannot dribble. Do not give me Thanasis at the Kumpo. Give me Alex, it's fine. Give me the other kid that's in the G League team, but Thanasis is lint. The only reason he's in the NBA right now it's because he can grab boards.
Disrespecting Thanos.
He was awful. The guy's not Thanos. Do not call him Thanos. Thanasis. Do not put him anywhere. He would be
probably better off in a body slamming contest.
Yeah, facts.
Just picking up guys and body slamming them for no reason at all.
He's lit. I'm sorry. I think I'm a better shooter than him. I think I'm a pretty good shooter. But that was all. I respect it. Good for the Kumpos, the legacy. Giannis got his championship. Now he's one of the top 75 players of all time. Kudos to him, man. He well deserved. Second European to be in the top 75. Kudos to you. Don't give me your brother. And I like the fact that the G League man was in there. My brother, that was cool. But give me someone.
Raptors 905, shout out.
Shout out. No one listening to this podcast even knew he was on the 905 other than you and Mutombo. I'm telling you right now, so let's understand that. But anyways, going past the skills competition, Fred VanVleet, he looked a little bit shaky in that three-point competition, man. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, Fred looked like he didn't want to be at All-Star Weekend all weekend. Every time I saw this guy, he just looked sluggish, just walking around, didn't have a smile on his face at all. This man did not want to be at All-Star Weekend at all. He just pretty much showed up because he had to be there. That's the way it looked. Don't get me wrong, right?
Right.
But that's just the way it looked to me. I thought it was hilarious. Like by the time he got the ball, he was probably looking at like, why am I in this contest?
Why am I here? Better yourself.
Why am I at the arena? I want to be at the hotel until the All-Star game actually starts.
Yo, Fred, I bet on Fred. Listen, when you talk to him on the Hustle Play podcast, I don't know if it's happening, but hopefully soon. I know it is. It has to be. But when you talk to him, kind of be like, hey, I bet on you. I bet on myself. I bet on him. didn't win any money from it, right?
Y'all are gonna have to wait to see who the next guest is gonna be on the show.
It's gonna be
with myself and Chris.
Chris Boucher.
That's coming up soon.
If you have not watched episode 1 with Chris Boucher, House of Play with Mike Roach, please do so. Great episode. It was just literally
Canada
the show
on YouTube.
Shout out to Yahoo Canada. That's the show you want to watch when it comes to unfiltered, no BS, just straight real talk. You know what I'm saying?
Episode 2 is coming. We got the guest for you.
Let's go. You need to get a haircut for that. Same, me too. But you're gonna get that really soon.
I think I might wait till next week though. I was thinking about going tomorrow, but I think I might wait it out till Monday maybe.
Yeah, get that Chris line up for sure. But
where are you getting yours from, Blade?
Blade Runner Incorporated. That's what I'll be getting mine from really soon, right? I'm going to be cutting this down real soon.
Tell me you're still driving all the way up to Mississauga to get those cuts.
Nah, that was years ago. That's ancient times. Now that guy has his own shop down here now, so I get. And my other barber, he left to go to Vancouver, so this guy's no use to me now. My only black barber is gone, but I got to use this mixed breed man. Anyways, I'm not gonna talk about it. He listened to the podcast. Shout out to you, Bien. But yeah, anyways, I want to go from there to 3-point contest. Karl-Anthony Towns is winning. He calls himself the best shooting big man in the league or of all time. Even the Minnesota posted that. Understand Dirk Nowitzki won the same competition, and he's the greatest big man shooter of all time. So don't get it twisted. Slam dunk competition. I'm gonna leave this for you. I want you to kind of give me the Stephen A. because you're Stephen A. You're a hero. Tell me exactly how you felt about that dunk contest and what they need to do to make it better.
What dunk contest? Listen, I picked Obi Toppin to win because it didn't surprise me. We've seen this guy do some ridiculous dunks in the past. I'm talking breakaway, in game, through the legs with ease. You see a man do something like that with ease, he's going to go off in a dunk contest. You got to have some balls to pull that off. Like, that is not easy to do. There's a whole bunch of people watching. Okay?
Right.
The dunk contest is different. In game is very different. So I picked Obi Toppin right off the bat because he's just a straight up freak. Even with his size, his ability is crazy.
Okay. Over Jalen Green?
I was if I picked him over Jalen Green?
Pick him over Jalen Green.
Yeah, I picked him over Jalen Green. I picked him to win it. Because I've seen what he's capable of. I knew Jalen Green has hops, but I pretty much figured it'd end up the way it ended up. Like, now I dropped a clip the other day talking about how do we get bigger names in the dunk contest, right? But then I thought about it and I said, okay, well, even if we get bigger names, that doesn't equate to them doing a good job, right? So is it about getting bigger names in the dunk contest, or is it about better preparation from the guys who are in it? That's the question to me. The guys who are in the dunk contest, whether they're big names or not, they have to prepare better for this.
They did no homework. It looks like they did not prepare at all.
At all. It looked terrible. We're not saying you have to do a 360 windmill like Vince Carter, but at least be able to make a dunk, like land something. How are you doing? How do you have so many attempts to the point where you don't even make one?
You don't even know what you're doing anymore. Toscano Anderson, like Jalen Green,
bro. You don't have to start off on 100 when you're doing in a dunk contest. Like, you can pull a nasty windmill, like a full nasty windmill. Like, you can throw it up, catch a really nasty windmill, throw it up, catch a 360. Like, you don't have to go 0 to 100 and like throw it off the backboard and like try and go behind your back twice and through the legs and like, at least you got to make the dunk at least. Like, come on, bro. This is ridiculous at this point.
It was really embarrassing. Like, I was out to the little bar and I'm like, I'm out of here. I left like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the middle of the competition. But let me just say this. Certain players, like the Ja Morants, the Zion Williamsons, LeBron in his peak, make dunks look sicker than what they are because they're just ridiculous athletes. You know this. You understand. Ja Morant makes anything look ridiculous with the kind of bounce he has. So just literally having it, see Zion Williamson too, having him in the competition alone, and I know it's on them and what they want to do. LeBron said he was going to do it years ago, didn't end up doing it. Michael Jordan was in it, by the way. That was a different time back then. But having them in it, Kobe as well too. Legends in this stuff, right? Having them just Dawkins, obviously, having them just in the competition makes everything just better altogether. It's more intriguing to watch. So like that would be one thing I would say. And I know there's another recommendation that was mentioned that they should have something in the pot, like you win something to go to a charity.
They need more incentive. They need more incentive to get these guys in there. These guys are making, I don't know how many thousands they get paid to go in there, but it's not enough. Like, I believe John Morant said he wanted like $1 million to do it or something like that.
Something like that. He said it's
like
the goal's
they
not high
need to
enough.
have way more incentives for the dunk contest. Right. They need to be paid. I believe that if you win the dunk contest, you should get a shoe deal for a year with a company.
That would be cool. That's a cool one. Yes.
Or if you don't get a shoe deal for a year, you get your own exclusive shoe. Like everybody who wins the dunk contest should be able to make an exclusive shoe for that year. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That way it's almost like a collector's item too. Did you get the dunk? Did you get the dunk off shoe from this year, from that year, from this year, from that year? I don't know how you would do it, what brand you'd be partnered with and all that kind of stuff, but you need to make an incentive some type of way for these guys to want to be in it. You should get an endorsement deal for a year, maybe along with the shoe, whatever. I mean, I don't literally know how you would go about that and do it, but you do have to get creative with compensation in some type of way to make these guys like want the dunk contest to be exciting, to make them want to prepare properly to put on a show for the people. You only get it once a year. And I mean, those other dunk-offs, if you look at some of these other dunk-offs, like the ones that come on TNT, like there are some dunk-offs that they show on like TNT.
The Dunk Show, Mike Roach podcast.
Like they have the professional dunkers, right? Mm-hmm. And then even some of these guys like in the G League, like these G League dunk-offs and all that kind of stuff are way better than what we're seeing in the NBA, right? So I don't know. They got to come up with a way to make this a bit more exciting.
And that's the thing you said. It comes once a year, and then like it's a moment. Like there's a Super Bowl, there's the dunk contest it's a moment. It's like a thing that we always look forward to. So you can't disrespect the dunk contest when we've seen legendary ones for years and years. And of course, nothing's going to be as good as Zach LaVine. And Zach LaVine's another guy. Him dunking is just exciting to watch because he's just a springy man. But anyways, that's another thing that we're going to figure out. I had the same kind of idea, similar, but having it's like in NFL they have a Walter Payton Man of the Year. Having the dunker of the year, right? You get different things throughout the year that you're doing because you won that dunk competition. But that's a great idea for the shoes, Mike Roach. Smart man. Go on to the All-Star weekend when it comes to the All-Star game. Steph Curry's 16 threes, ridiculous. I love that format. For that format, because we already know who the stars are. You have those guys in, you play the game. That's what I want for my Rising Stars Challenge. But anyways, back to what your take of the entire game was it perfect? Do you like LeBron James kind of saying that, he's Cleveland, all this stuff kind of like, anyways, it doesn't matter. What was your take of the All-Star game?
I mean, I thought it was okay. I thought it was, well, Steph Curry was the guy who made this thing like really exciting because he was just going off. Overall, I just thought the game was good though. Like it wasn't, Steph was crazy. But aside from Steph, there was a few nice highlights that we enjoyed in there. Mm-hmm. One with who you just mentioned, and John Morant. Absolutely insane. I like LeBron ending the game in Cleveland. That's his hometown there. Mm-hmm. But overall, I just thought the game was okay, aside from Steph. You know what I mean? Like I said, I love the Elam ending because I love the game finishing on a basket. That's dope.
Yeah.
But aside from Steph, I thought it was okay. I love the halftime with the greatest players.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's what I wanted to bring up. That was incredible. Are there any? So, seeing Michael Jordan, people saying that Michael Jordan wasn't even there, and I wouldn't be surprised because it's Mike. Mike takes everything personal. It's Mike. Mike, you saw as a star, he's the most popular athlete of all time. The way he's in the room with all those other stars and people are gravitating towards him, the Magics, all these guys, LeBron's, they're gravitating towards him. It kind of hurt me that not having Kobe there because Kobe ultimately deserved to be there.
That still
That was
pisses
tough.
me off.
It still really pisses me off every single day. I hated 2020 when it started with that. But that NBA 27-75 was incredible. What I was going to say to you, kind of go off there, do you think Carmelo Anthony deserves to be in the top 75 players of all time right now without a ring, in place of a guy like Klay Thompson? Or you can make a case for some other guys as well, too, that have won championships and been vital pieces on their team. What is your take
but
about that?
We can't just look at it by rings, though, because we're pretty much just saying, oh, Klay Thompson has rings. Why isn't he in there? Like, we can't just look at it by rings. We have to look at the entire body of work. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of people are looking at Carmelo Anthony now. We forget what this man was doing on the basketball court. He was absolutely ridiculous. Like 45 on any given night.
Okay.
That's cash money. Okay. You know what I mean? He slaughtered people in his prime. Mm-hmm. Slaughtered.
Same with
he was bad. Mm-hmm. Okay? So we have to remember this guy is one of the greatest scorers ever to be in the game. Now, does he have a ring? No, but a lot of those guys don't have a ring and they're in there. So, I mean, it's like, okay, if you want to put somebody in, who do you take out? Because we always say, well, this guy should be in there. Well, which guy do you take out? It's a question.
I want to know who actually determines who's in that top 75.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, what is the clear-cut criteria? That's the only thing I don't understand with how, like, what is the clear-cut criteria to getting in? What are you looking at?
And no
some
one
guys
knows
don't have rings. Some guys have a bunch of rings.
Right.
Some guys didn't score a lot. Some guys did score a lot. Then you have guys like Dennis Rodman, who is a crazy hustle player and rebounder, best rebounder. And then there's just so many different guys who played different ways, who impacted the game in different ways. Some guys changed the game. If you look at a guy like a Wilt Chamberlain and a Shaquille O'Neal and a Steph Curry, they changed the way the game was played. A Jordan. It's like, I just don't understand what the criteria is. I mean, I get they were fantastic players and great, amazing players, but there's just so much room for arguments here with the amount of people that should be in and out, right? So
it's a great conversation to have, and it's something that I would love to see the criteria and who's actually picking these guys. Is it the peers? Is it a vote? Do they get their own? It's something that I think the players definitely have some input in. But anyways, I want to digress from there. The All-Star Weekend was great in Cleveland. LeBron got his just due, so on and so forth. The season starts right back up very, very soon. We have the Toronto Raptors currently in the 7th slot at 32-25, right? But a game up on the Nets right now, who are in the 8th place. Think about that, 31-28, with that new deal, with Ben Simmons in the fold, so on and so forth. With the team currently constructed with Thaddeus Young, so on and so forth, do you see this team rising and getting to like a 4 spot or even rising at any point and staying in that point? Or do you see the Raptors, and being honest, being in the playing game by the end of the season?
I don't necessarily see them in the playing game. I think they're probably going to stay closer to where they are right now. I don't see them moving up as a team that has home court advantage in the first round. What I think is they'll be a lower seeded playoff team, and they will give a run to whoever they play in the first round. I don't necessarily think they could beat a team like Miami or Milwaukee or something, but I think they could give a run to a team like Chicago or a team like Cleveland. I even think they might be able to beat a Chicago or a Cleveland. I don't think they'll be able to beat a team like Miami, even though they do. It does look like they give Miami fits. Don't think they'll be able to beat a team like Milwaukee yet. But you never know. I mean, the Raptors, it's going to be interesting. I want to see kind of a little bit more how Thaddeus Young plays into helping this team off the bench. I do believe he's going to be an important player down the stretch because of his versatility, his ability to guard multiple positions is going to be important. And he's just crafty around the basket. He's good with his scoring in the painted area and the mid-range. He's good with making the extra pass and making the correct pass. So I do think he's going to help off the bench because really it just presses Achua and Chris Boucher. Those are like your main guys off the bench, right? Now Thad Young will help with that. And that's really it. You don't see too many other guys. Well, Banton as well, Delano Banton as well. But aside from that, Champagny is a guy who you're probably going to see play a little bit more. But aside from that, Savi Mahailu, you're not going to really see. You're not going to really see Malachi Flynn or anything like that. So I think the Raptors are going to be 6-7 spot. Maybe they'll be in the play-in, maybe. But I guess we'll see. What do you think?
No, that's a great assessment altogether. Like I don't think they can sustain level playing the players that they do against the Heat. I don't like at number one, the Heat. I think the Heat are, my opinion, they're the best team in the East, the most balanced team in the East. The Bulls, I think they can definitely give the Bulls a run. I don't necessarily see them beating the Bulls because, of course, DeRozan has their number. DeRozan knows how to pick on certain guys, and you're gonna get guys like Pascal Siakam or OG, and they'll be in foul trouble. That's what he does so well. It'll be really tough to beat them, especially when Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball come back into the fold. The Sixers will pose a matchup problem with the Raptors.
Sixers will be tough.
So because you don't really necessarily have someone that can actually body up on an Embiid, right? They used to. Now you don't really see that, right? So that's gonna be a really tough matchup, especially with James Harden in the fold. Man, my goodness, and that pick and roll with Embiid and James Harden is gonna be ridiculous. The Cavs currently constructed, the Cavs and Celtics are the only teams right now above the Raptors that I can see the Raptors potentially beating.
The Celtics are going to give people problems too.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It's really the Raptors and the Celtics who are starting to rise up in the East right now. These last, 15, 16 games or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's really the Raptors and the Celtics who are rising up in the rankings, who look like they'll probably give some people some trouble come postseason if they're both in.
You're only looking at the Charlotte Hornets and the Hawks were the only teams that are giving the Raptors kind of like a little bit of a push, or you're trying to keep them out of contention. So you really can't afford to go on any losing streaks. You need to be able to win every matchup you have. You have to be like, now we understand why Nick Nurse is what we understood from the start, but you understand you cannot drop games to teams that you're better than.
No,
at all.
You literally can't at all right now.
Yeah, it's not affordable. But, hey, that's the Raptors. It's going to be very interesting down the stretch. We'll see how the rookies start. The rookies with Delano Banton and, of course, Scotty Barnes way up down the stretch. There's going to be some mistakes, but you have a pretty solid core. And Siakam and Fred VanVleet need to keep their steady hand and make sure they're continuing to dominate. But anyways, we're nearing the end right now. I want to ask you, you watching Bel-Air?
Is it out already?
It's out, man. It is out. You need to watch Bel-Air. It's like real, and they have like Carlton's doing. Has the GAT. He has. It's a different type of show. You need to watch it.
Why would I watch that? What the hell is Carlton doing with a GAT?
I'm telling you, it's more of a realistic. It's more of a modern. Will Smith is executive directing it. It's a great show.
Is it good though?
I love it. It comes
now,
out.
Is it a show has 10 episodes? Is it like that? Like in a season kind of thing?
In a season kind of thing. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So the last 4 episodes, it's pretty much Will getting to Bel-Air. He's a basketball star in West Philly, and gets into some trouble with the gun. So he has to be pushed. You need to watch the show. I'm telling you, anyone that's watched the show, you can comment on this video, and you let me know exactly how much you're rating it, and we'll put it out to the Instagram.
It's just I've been watching Fresh Prince for years since I was a kid. God knows how long.
Yeah, probably
25 years. And when I think of Fresh Prince, I just think of comedy. So when I think about this, it's so strange. It's so weird. Like, you know what I mean?
You need to give it a chance. Trust me, me too. Ever since I came out of the womb, that's literally what I was watching. So definitely. But if you watched it, drop a comment, like and subscribe, and go from there. But this is the Six Man Podcast. Mike, do you have anything more you want to throw out?
No, man. I'm kind of just waiting to get the season kicked off again, and I'm just really interested to see what goes on with the East and the Western Conference. Really interested to see what happens with Phoenix, with Chris Paul being out for 2 months.
2 months, my gosh. 6 to 8 weeks.
We're almost at the. So he's not going to be back until the playoffs start.
Exactly. but they're already locked,
Yikes.
and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. You got the Warriors. The Warriors are probably going to catch them at 42-17. They're at 48-10. It's tough. Why isn't Chris Paul?
Keep it up. They might be able to stay afloat. Like, we all know they're going to be a top-seeded team going into the playoffs, but
for sure,
they do have a large lead. And I think Phoenix is probably good enough to hold on to that number one spot.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, how many games? Anyway, that's a story for another day.
A story for another time. We'll get into that for sure. We'll do that next time, actually. Hey, Mike Roach. This is a 6 Man Podcast. You can find Mike Roach at Mike_Roach_ on Twitter, Mike Roach 7 on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at G_JB and Graham_JB on Twitter. This is a 6 Man Podcast. Keep balling. We'll be back.